Welcome back. Some fantastic news coming out of both City Hall and the province last week in regard to social housing, affordable housing, which we need in Kamloops. Collectively, about 104 units so far have been announced to be built later this year. Here to talk about it, we have City Councillor Cathy Sinclair. Welcome back to the show, Cathy.
Thank you, Susan.
And Jen Casorso, who is the Social and Community Development Supervisor with the City of Kamloops. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Is this your first go?
Yes.
Well, welcome. It's great to have you.
Thank you.
We've been talking about affordable housing and the lack thereof around the province and in our community for years. Huge announcement out of not out of nowhere, not for you guys, but a lot of people may not realize that this is coming to fruition now, and some great announcements at City Hall.
Yeah, it's been super exciting. I mean, I kind of came into council fairly recently, so, but it's been very exciting to be a part of a team that is really united in this decision that we need to move forward. We need affordable housing. We need housing at all levels, and that includes subsidized housing, shelters, and rentals. So to be a part of this big announcement from the province has been just super exciting, but really it's been years and years of work, and I'm sure Jen can attest to that, and Jen and her team have been putting this together for much time, actually. So yeah.
So let's talk about that, Jen. You're working behind the scenes. You're not necessarily sitting at the council table and talking about it, but you're doing that grunt work behind the scenes, trying to decide or advise the city, where should we be buying this affordable housing land, and how does that all come together for you guys? It's many years in the making.
Yeah, very much so. We spend a lot of time assessing a variety of properties throughout the whole city, also understanding our community demographics and the population that needs housing, you know, what our homeless population looks like, as well as those that are living in poverty, and just trying to make ends meet, and how can we provide housing solutions for everyone in the community.
So what did you decide on?
Yeah, so working with the province right now is the Rapid Response to Homelessness Initiative. It's a provincial government-led program, and they wanted to work with us here in Kamloops to help respond to our homeless population and those that come in and out of homelessness. So we're looking at 104 units for our community over 2 projects, one on the North Shore and one on the South Shore.
So the one on the North Shore is on Tranquille 300 block, is that
That's
right?
Yeah.
And then the one on the South Shore is?
259 Victoria Street West, so right next to the Emerald Center shelter.
Okay, fantastic. So this is all going to materialize before the end of this year, I hear? Is that the truth? That's how it's going to go. That seems fast.
It is. It'll be new for our community. This is a modular constructed building. For all purposes, though, it'll look exactly like an apartment building. It's just that they have the ability to control development over at Horizon North, build self-contained units, and then they stack them like Lego, pretty much. That's kind of how I best describe them. And then they put the exterior facade and everything on it on site. Yeah, so it's going to be a really interesting construction methodology for our community, and good experience, I think, to have this.
And a local company too, which is, you know, it's sort of the icing on the cake for this project that, you know, we're going to be seeing even more jobs in Kamloops as a result of these projects as well.
Yeah.
And I think an important point too is that, you know, we all have this picture of what homelessness is in our community, but, you know, there are people who have fallen on hard times due to the loss of a spouse, due to an illness. I mean, you know, it's not necessarily somebody who's struggling with addiction or struggling with mental health, and those can certainly be a part of it. But, you know, it could be you or me who's fallen on some hard times, and this subsidized housing is just about giving people that address. It's very difficult to move forward in life. You can't even get a bank account without an address, right? So we're just so excited about this project and giving people a chance to move forward with their lives and become productive members of society.
Who will be running these developments? Ask is doing one, Ask Wellness, and Mental Health the other?
Yeah, Canadian Mental Health Association is the operator for the Victoria Street property. They own that land. And then, yes, Ask Wellness for the Tranquille property. Both very important operators in our community, provide a lot of programs and services already. This will be a great extension to their delivery of services and supporting population that needs stable housing.
Who qualifies? Who gets chosen? 104 is beautiful, but I'm sure we could use 704.
Yeah, great question. It's the province is moving toward all communities adopting a vulnerability assessment tool framework. And a vulnerability assessment tool allows for an agency, individual, support worker to ask a number of questions to people that are homeless and really better understand their homelessness, as well as what their supports are that they need. And it's a standardized tool, and it'll come out with a number that determines that person's vulnerability, and then it'll allow that agency or community to wrap supports around that individual and place them in housing that's suitable for them. Certainly, you want to have a mix of vulnerabilities. You don't want to have extremely high vulnerable people in a particular development. In fact, you only want to see a few because then they'll get the right supports that they need.
Sure.
Yeah.
When did the shovels go into the ground?
So the doors should open fall of this year. So we're looking at a really quick turnaround. They're working on some of the design stuff right now. There's a few city processes that have to be adjudicated first, like a development permit process. Both properties are zoned appropriately for this development, so there's no rezoning process that we have to go through. But Horizon North is keen and has committed to having these open in November, December.
And they know what they're doing because I believe they did a development at the coast as well. Is that right?
That's right.
So similar sort of build as what's down there?
Yeah, if people want to take a look at it, it's on Main and Terminal in Vancouver. And that was one of the first sort of modular construction developments. Now, it's on a floating foundation. Ours will be on a permanent foundation, but for all purposes, they're very similar.
Okay. And can we anticipate that we could see more units coming our way? I mean, will there be more of this? This is the start of something bigger, do you think?
Yeah, that's our goal.
I think it's safe to say that, yeah, we have identified, the city has identified that this is something that we want to put our efforts behind, and we notice there are issues, you know, what's working, what's happening right now isn't working, and we know we're committed to something that's going to work for everybody. And for every $10 invested in housing, we save $21.72 in emergency services. So, you know, to me, it's a no-brainer. It's a win for the business community, it's a win for our community overall, and it's a win for the residents as well. So
fantastic. All right. Jen, anything else you want to add about this? This, you know, this decision sort of comes in, you know, a passing where a lot of people are thankful it's happening, but you've been behind the scenes on this for years. I mean, this must feel quite celebrational for you.
Yeah, I think it's great to finally have some momentum behind increasing our housing stock. Certainly, I'm very much a proponent of housing affordability, housing diversity, and supporting our vulnerable populations. I really think we need housing for everyone, and that's sort of my mantra, is housing for all. So the best that I can do that, that's kind of how I approach the work. You know, if people want more information, we've got our city website, that's kamloops.ca/housing, for people to find information about these projects. And certainly we'll keep that updated as projects progress. And we look forward to having more announcements to come. And we're also looking forward to what the provincial government announces as far as their commitment to housing. And we're trying to position ourselves to be a recipient of those programs and initiatives.
Right. And BC so far, the government has put in $16 million just for this 104. So it's not a cheap venture, but in the long run, it's a saver.
Yeah, it is, and it's also those wraparound services. So it's been proven that giving people just housing isn't always the solution. People need to connect with one another. They need to be given those supports, and they need to be put in touch with the agencies that can help them go the next step. And being isolated in your own little place is not a good thing for anybody.
Yeah,
so
very true. It has to come with the support as well. Well, thank you to you, Jen, and Kathy, to you. Job well done. It's an exciting new chapter for Kamloops, and it'll be great to see the beginning of construction and see how it all turns out come the fall. You're thinking fall's completion.
Yeah, that's what we're all targeting for. I know it seems really ambitious, but that's the goal.
Why not, right? Out of the cold before next winter. I think that's
right.
Great.
Exactly.
Thank you for the both of you being on the show today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We will take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.